Okay, should we go on to the sixth parak? So remember, this book is structured according to the Braita of Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, which basically means there's 10 levels, and he has just finished the first level. The first level is the zehirut, is the watchfulness. Now he's going to the second level. The second level is the zrizut, and what he does is, first of all, he explains the midah. This is his path. First, he explains it. If you look, Be'ur, he explains it. Then if you go to chapter 7, what does he talk? He talks about the details, the different elements, how you break it up into small pieces so you understand what is the mean to be zariz, or quick to do things properly. Then he talks about how a person acquires the zrizut. That's in chapter 8. And then afterwards, in chapter 9, just like he did just now, he talks about how you can avoid losing it. This is really the best manual, I think, from a Musar book ever written, which doesn't just tell you what to do, it tells you how to do it, and it tells you how to maintain it. You know, the hardest part of a diet is not losing the weight often, it's staying on the diet and maintaining the weight loss. That's the hardest part. This book basically tells you, number one, how to go on the diet, the spiritual diet, so you can be a holier person. And then once you're at the proper weight, how do you maintain yourself like that rather than fall off the wagon again, as is so common with other things. This was make this book very unique. Okay, so the sixth parak, Be'ur midat hazrizut. Zrizut is alacrity, which basically means to do something, to do it in a timely fashion, not to be lazy. Achar hazehirut yavo hazrizut. After a person has vigilance, which is watchfulness, now comes the zrizut, which basically means the alacrity. Ki hazehirut sovev al halot ha'aseh v'hazrizut al ha'aseh. Generally, we see that watchfulness is specifically regarding negative prohibitions of the Torah. Don't eat this, don't do that, don't do this. So a person has to be watchful and guarding not to do what Hashem has told us not to do. Regarding zrizut, that's for the positive commandments. Hashem asks us to do something. A person should do it and do it quickly, not complete it quickly, but not delay in beginning to do the action. That's what zrizut is. V'hainu su mera v'aseh tov. That is an essential one. Sur mera, which means to separate from evil. That's the first thing. The first one is the zihirut. That's a person separating from evil. Once a person separates from evil, now the question is, it's not enough to just separate from evil, you have to do good. So the sur mera is lizaher, to watch. Aseh tov is the zrizut, action. V'inyano shel zrizut mevoar. We're going to explain, it's clear, what does it mean to be zrizut, zariz? Shehu hakdama la mitzvot lahashlamat inyanam. This is basically the prompt to how a person performs the mitzvot, how prompt we are in doing the mitzvot and to complete them and see them through to completion, not to start it and not finish it. This is what the rabbis told us. Zrizim makdimin la mitzvot. People who are zealous, people who are alacrity, or people who are eager, they do the mitzvot early. Just like a person has, we previously learned, how much wisdom and how much sharpness a person has to have in order to save themselves from the Yetzer Hara, to save themselves from the evil inclination, and to avoid falling into traps where evil becomes part of what we're doing, so the evil doesn't win out over us. Ken sarich pichut gadol. Similarly, just like in the last level, a person had to have a tremendous amount of thought in order to avoid falling into the traps of the Yetzer Hara. Similarly, a person also has to have a lot of thought and hashkafa le'echoz b'mitzvot v'lizkot b'hem v'lo tovadna mimenu, to grab hold of the mitzvot and to get merit by doing them, that should not be lost. A person should not lose an opportunity to perform a mitzvah. Just like the Yetzer Hara works very, very hard to have the person fall into the trap to do something that God doesn't want you to do. Similarly, the Yetzirah works to try to get you not to do the mitzvot that you're supposed to do, to make a person to lazy, so that she is not going to want to do the mitzvot. If he doesn't do them and he becomes lazy, it doesn't strengthen himself to chase after them, and to support them, he will remain shaken and empty of these mitzvot. Human nature is to be very heavy, not in scale-wise, but in lazy-wise. It is human nature to be lazy. While some of us are more than others, but this is human nature. Ki afriyut hachomriyut gas. For basically the earth is coarse, it's material. Therefore, just like what are we made from? We're made from the dust of the earth. So just like the dust has weight, we really don't want to do very much. We'd rather sit around than do nothing. A person who wants to have the merit in order to perform the worship and service of his Creator, he has to overcome his nature. And that nature, of course, is to be lazy, and to overcome and to become enthusiastic. If he allows himself to remain in his heavy state, he will certainly not be successful. This is what the Tana said. So we talked before about the Az Kanamer, which basically means a person should be fierce like the leopard, which means to fight off people making fun of you. The Kal Kanesher, and light like the Nesher. Why light? Because heaviness is what gets us into trouble. When we're light, like an eagle flying, we're able to go and do what we need to do. The Ratz Katsevi, which means running, which means eager. The Gibor Ka'ari, and brave like the lion, to do the will of Hashem in the Shamayim. V'chen manu chachamim zichronom levacha, and therefore the rabbis counted, but devarim hatzrichim chizuk. They talked about the things that require strengthening, and these are the 4 things that require strengthening. Torah u'ma'asim tovim, Torah u'ma'asim tovim. Umikra malehu, and basically there's this pasuk, chazak ve'ematz, what the Sfaradim say to each other after they get aliyah. Hazak u'baruch, hazak ve'ematz. Me'od lishmor la'asot kechol Torah. That's what it says, chazak ve'ematz. Me'od lishmor la'asot kechol Torah. Be very strong and be brave in order to do the mitzvot. Ki chozek gadol tzarich lemi she'oseh lichpot hateva el havko. It requires a tremendous amount of strength for the person to overcome their nature. Now, there's certain natures that we all have in common, and there's certain natures that some of us have more than others. He'll talk about that later. Shlomo taught a lot about this type of thing. When he saw the evil, the tremendous evil that the laziness causes, and how much a person loses when they remain lazy. And he said, me'at shenot, me'at tinumot, me'at chibuk yadayim lishkav, uva ki mehalech reshecha. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the arms to lie down. Then your poverty shall come as a runner, and your want as an armed man. That's from Mishlei. A person who is lazy, even though he's not really doing anything evil by action. Laziness means you're not doing. It's inaction. He basically causes there to be evil upon himself. How? By not doing action. Ve'amar, and it says, Gam mitrapeh b'mlachto ach hu leval mashchit. A person who is slack in his work, he's a brother to the destroyer, which means you would think, okay, what's the big deal to be lazy? No, a person who's lazy, he's a brother to the destroyer, because he's allowing the Yetzirah to take over and prevent him from doing proper deeds. He's not doing wrong deeds, He's just not doing what he should be doing. Even though it's not the same type of a destroyer that does the evil with his hands, don't think that you're far from that person. Basically, they're kindred spirits, which basically means while certainly it's worse to sin through action, sinning through inaction ain't that good either. And it's a closeness to that other person. Even though it's not the same level, it's not that far away. Basically, he wants to explain the badness, the evil of laziness based on everyday occurrences. What we see every day. Al sedeh ish atzel avarti val kerem adam chasar lev. I passed by the field of a lazy man and by the vineyard of a man with no sense. V'hineh ala kulo kimsonim chosu panav harulim v'geder avanim nerasa. Behold, it was all overgrown with thistles, and its surfaces covered with nettles, and its stone wall broken down. Va'echzeh anochi ashit libi. And I looked and I pondered. Ra'iti lakachti musar. And I saw and I learned the lesson. This is all from Mishlei. Me'at shenot, me'at tnumot, me'at hibuk, yadayim lishkav, uba mitalech reshecha, machzorocha ki'ish magen. Basically means when a person allows all these things, the weeds to go on, all that kind of stuff, he's not going to have anything to eat if he allows the weeds. So it requires, in order to have a field, requires a person to work in order to plant. Otherwise, he's not going to have everything's going to grow as weeds. Weeds grow a lot better than food. The same idea there. The weeds that grow are the avonot. The person's not doing certain things. He's avoiding doing mitzvot. He's missing opportunities to rise up, which means he's going to stay low. Even though we have the simple meaning and it's very, very clear, when you see a lazy person's field, there's no, everything is growing and it's crazy. The Chachamim taught us a midrash in Yalkut Shimoni. Zelashonam, this is their language. V'hineh ala kulo kimisonim, that it was all overgrown with thistles. Basically, Shemevakesh Perush Shel Parasha ve'eno motzeh refers to the one who seeks the interpretation of a portion of the Torah and is unable to find it. Kosu panav charulim, its surface is covered with nettles. Mitoch shelo amal bahem hu yoshev tameh tatahor taher tatameh. And because he didn't work to understand the words of the Torah, what happens? He permits things that are forbidden and he forbids things that are permitted. Uporetz gideran shel tamidei chachamim, and he breaks through the barriers of tamidei chachamim, which means he doesn't follow the laws derabanan because he doesn't understand. Ma'on shoshazel, what's his punishment? Shlomo Perash. Shlomo explained, Uporetz gader yishechenu nachash. A person who breaks through the fence gets bitten by a snake. The Hainu, what snake is that talking about? The Yetzara. The Hainu kiraat he'atzel enaba bevatachat. But the evil that comes onto a person that's lazy doesn't come on quickly. Ela me'at me'at, little by little. Similar to the letz, right? We said about the letz. He also said about the letz, a fool. When a person's joking around, little by little, that whittles away his watchfulness. Well, similarly here, the laziness whittles away. He's not going to realize that he's not doing anything. He goes from one evil to another evil until he's completely immersed in evil. In the beginning, basically, he's not putting in effort. He's still doing things, but he's not working too hard at it. And then what happens? Well, if he's lazy, he's also not going to learn. He's not going to be only lazy in his positive commandments. The learning Torah is also a positive commandment. So he's become lazy in his learning. And what's going to happen when he's not learning? When he's going to want to learn, he's not going to understand well because he didn't put in the proper time because he was lazy. If his evil would stop over there, this is already bad enough. And it's going to get worse. But he's going to want to try to explain and understand what it says. He's going to explain the words of Torah in a way that is improper. And he will destroy the truth and he will make it the opposite. And he will transgress against the decrees and he will break the fences. And at the end he will be lost. Kemishpat kol poretz gader, like the judgment of anyone who breaks the fence. Amar Shlomo Melech said, V'hezeh anochi ashit libi hitbonanti al hadavar hazeh v'riti godel hara shebo shehu ka'eres haholech umitpashet me'at ve'en pe'ulato nikeret ad hamita. Basically, I gazed and I pondered, I reflected on this matter and realized the great evil in it. He's talking about laziness. For it is like a poison that spreads little by little, its effect unnoticed until it brings about death. This is the meaning. Vizehu me'at shenot, meaning a little bit of sleep, a little bit of tenumot, a little bit of slumber, me'at chibuk, a little bit of folding the arms, yadayim lishkav, to lay it down to sleep. Ubami talech reshecha machsorcha ki ish magen. And your poverty shall come as a runner, and your want as an armed man. We see with our own eyes. Kama ve'kama pe'amim, so many times. Shekvar libo shel adam yodea chovato. A person knows what they're supposed to do. V'nitamet etzlo ma shira'u lo, and it's clear to him what is appropriate. Lahatzalat nafsho, to save his soul. Ma shechova alav mitzad boro, and what Hashem is expecting of him. But even with all that, he's not going to do it. Why? Not because he doesn't recognize how important it is. Not for any other reason. But because the heaviness of the laziness is overcoming him. And he says, Ochal kim'a o ishan kim'a o kashe alai tzet mi beti. I'm going to eat a little bit, I'm going to sleep a little bit, it's difficult for me to leave my house. Pashati et kutonti, I already took off my shirt. Echacha el bashena, how can I put it on again? That's a pasuk from Shir Yesharim. Hama azza ba'olam, the sun is scorching outside, it's too hot. Hakarar haba o hageshamim, it's too cold outside or it's raining. V'chol shar ha'matlaot v'ato'anot asher pi ha'atzelim maleh bahem. And all the other kvetches and complaints that the people who are lazy are full of them. Everybody can find excuses why they need to be lazy in a certain time, but these are all excuses. Uben kach Torah munachat. But what happens when he's lazy about all this? The Torah becomes abandoned, neglected. Ve'avodah mivutelet, and the service becomes canceled. Ve'adam ozevet boro, and the person leaves his Creator. Hu masha Shlomo amar. This is what Shlomo Melech said. Ba'atzaltai mimach hamikare ub'shflut yadayim yidlov habayit. Through sloth, the ceiling sinks, and through indolence, the house leaks. Which means when a person is lazy, sooner or later, the building's going to start to develop cracks, and there's going to be water coming in, all that kind of stuff. This is a simile or a metaphor for the fact that the sin is going to overcome him. If you ask the lazy person, he's going to bring you lots of different things that the Chachamim say, and different verses from Pesukim, and rational arguments. Asher kulam yorulo, all of them instruct him, lefi da'ato mishubeshet, according to his contorted reasoning, according to his distortion. Person is going to look to justify what they do based on what they learn. That's not the way it is. You learn to know what you're doing wrong. You don't learn to understand that what you're doing is right when it's wrong. To relax, to make it easier for the person, and to allow him to continue in his blissful, restful laziness. He doesn't even realize that these different excuses that he's using is not coming because he's properly thought about it and weighed them and understood them. It's because of his laziness. That's where they come from. The laziness is winning out over him. And his knowledge and his sechel Israel is leaning towards these excuses. Asher lo yishma l'kol hachachamim asher ha'de'ah nechona. And this is not, of course, these arguments is not basically that's what the Chachamim would say. This is not what they meant, even if he's quoting Pesukim. This is what Shlomo HaMelech says. Chacham atzel be'enav meshiva meshive ta'am. The lazy man thinks himself smarter than 7 men that answer sensibly, which means he thinks he's really smart. He's lazy and smart, but that's not good because he thinks he's got answers better than everybody else, but he doesn't have. Ki ha'atzla enena manahat lo sheyeh afilu chash lidivrei hamochichim oto. And the laziness will prevent him from listening to people who rebuke him. Ela yashov hakol to'im v'shotim v'hu levodo chacham. He will think they're all fools and they don't know what they're talking about, and he's the only one that's smart. V'nei teda ki zeh klal gadol menuseh b'mlechet ha'prishut. We know that this is a fundamental time-tested rule in the art of abstinence. Shekol kula tzricha bedika. Every leniency a person wants to take upon themselves requires examination, not the stringencies. The leniencies require examination. Ki af al pi sheyechola liyot yeshara nechocha. It's possible that in this situation the person is allowed to be lenient. Omnam karova davar shetiyeh ma'atzot ha'yetzer mirmotav. He has to be very, very careful because it's possible that the Yetzer Hara is fooling him into thinking he can be lenient in this situation when he's not supposed to be lenient in this situation. Al ken tzarich livdok achareya. Therefore, a person has to check any kula that a person is going to use, any leniency. You have to verify, is it truly applicable to the situation you're at now? Because the Yetzer Hara, of course, is going to tell you, yes, it is, because a kula, by definition, is going to lead into the laziness. B'chakirutu drishut rabot, but investigate it very, very carefully. V'imachar kol ela titzdak, and after you've investigated, you see that it is a kula that is appropriate. V'adai shehi tova, then of course it is appropriate kula, it's appropriate leniency. Klalo shel davar. To summarize, chizuk gadol tzarich adam litchazek ulitgaber b'zrizut la'asot hamitzvot. A person has to fortify and strengthen themselves in order to overcome and to become zariz, to become eager and enthusiastic to do mitzvot. Behashlicho me'alav kobed ha'atzla, by throwing off from them the heaviness of the laziness, ha'me'akevet al yado, that prevents the performance of the mitzvot. V'tiresha malachim nishtabechu b'midah hatova azot, and we see that the angels basically are praised for this wonderful, wonderful midah. What are they praised for? Shnei Amar Bahem, it says about them, Giborei koach oseh devaro lishmoa bekol devaro. That basically mighty in strength who do his bidding, hearkening to the voice of his word. That means people who are strong in their strength, these are the ones who listen to the words of Hashem. Ve'omer, ve'achayot ratzo v'ashov kemarei habazak. And the chayot, which was a type of angel called chayot, they go and they come like the flash of lightning, which means they're fast, they're not lazy, they're light. Adam hu adam v'lo malach, but we know a person is not an angel, they're a man. And therefore there's no way that he can come to a situation where he has the strength of an angel. But even though we're not angels, we can't be like them. We should strive to be like them with the understanding that we're people, but that we should strive to be like the angels in being light, not heavy. And David HaMelech would praise this particular portion and say, Chashti v'lo hitma'amati lishmor mitzvotecha. I hurry without delay to keep your commandments, which means not to delay. When a person has a mitzvah, he should go to do it. As it says, he doesn't bring it up here, but he brings up someplace else. Mitzvah ba yadecha al tahamitzena. When a mitzvah comes to a person, do not allow it to become hametz. What's the difference between matzah and hametz? The difference in matzah and hametz is time. So, basically flour and water, 18 minutes, that's hametz. Less than 18 minutes is matzah. Don't allow the mitzvah to become hametz, meaning do it eagerly and quickly. That doesn't mean to finish it fast. Finish it in an appropriate amount of time, but don't delay starting it, because if you delay starting it, then there's always a possibility that you won't do it. And that's the whole thing we learned about Masechet Brachot, where it says that the Zman of the Kriyat Shema, it says, is until Alot HaShachar, is until dawn. A person can say Kriyat Shema all night until dawn. But the rabbi said Ad Chatzot. Why Ad Chatzot? To distance a person from sin. Because if a person allows himself, gives them more time, what happens is the dawn's going to come and go, and he's going to miss out on the mitzvah. The reason why he knows is he's a man just like everybody else. We have a tendency to think that our Chachamim are great. The Gemara says if we think the Rishonim are angels, then we're men. If we think the Rishonim, the first people, are men, then we're animals. So we need to understand, as time goes on, we become less and less. We're not as good as they were. But nevertheless, they were still human beings. They were still, they still had the same types of ta'avot. They still had the same desires. They conquered them. They worked on them. So the Ramchal is basically saying that whose personal experience he worked on himself to the point where he can write a book like this because he's been through all these things. That's what he was saying in the maze, that a person who's blind in the maze doesn't know the way to go, but go with someone who's already been through the maze. He'll show you the way. Okay. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen. Amen.